Hello, you're listening to Maree Gifkins on the Health and Wellness program. So let's have a talk about magnesium. Magnesium is one of those minerals that are just magical. We sort of call it the happy pill, and it's not like for depression or sadness. It's more like putting the spark back into your muscles or putting the spark back into your eyes. Oh, life's not so bad. So it's a wonderful mineral. And how do we get it? Well, you can get a supplement from a health shop. You know, I will say to people, don't get the most expensive, but don't get the cheapest. Don't get the one in the supermarket because there's usually fillers in there. And the health shops are usually a little bit better range. And about a middle price is fairly good. You'll get a fairly good quality without paying super dollars. You can also have an Epsom salt bath if you've got a bath at home. The Epsom salts have the magnesium, and it's very nice to have a soak, especially if you've been in the garden or you've been out running or your muscles are achy or it's been a hard week at work or emotional stuff is going on and you need that little bit of a top up. Then you can hop in a bath with, you can buy the Epsom salts from the supermarkets, and it's usually, I think they come in about a 500 gram bag. You put the whole packet in, don't just put a tablespoon in, that's not going to do a lot. You put the whole bag in, 500 gram bag, lie in the bath for half an hour, you know, not too hot, you don't want it cold, nice and warm temperature. Have some candles on if you want, read a book, magazine, and just relax. So the magnesium's going to go in through the skin and support all your muscles, and like I said, it's working on your muscles to top them up. It's putting that spark back in your eyes. All life's not so bad. And it also works on the bowels as well. So if your bowels aren't balanced very well and your number twos are a bit hard or a bit soft or they're a bit upset, then the magnesium quite often will work for that as well. It's one of those minerals that we need it in abundance. We need quite a lot of the magnesium because the magnesium will also coat heavy metals and chemicals to help pull it through the body. So magnesium's always something to have around, you know, even in a foot soak. The other day I grabbed I think it was a full cream bottle of milk, about a litre, and put that in a tub. I was going to put my feet in it. So a whole litre of milk, full cream, because, you know, it's got all the fat on there, which helps you absorb a bit more calcium. I chucked in 3 tablespoons of it was the Himalayan salt, actually. It could have been the Epsom salts, but I chose the Himalayan salt, and a good heaped tablespoon of baking soda. And sat there 30 minutes, nice warm water, topped it up with a bit more warm water, of course, with the milk. And gee, my feet felt really good, and the skin felt really soft. And so you can do all these things to treat yourself. You can have the Himalayan salt in the bath as well. So that's the pink salt. And the Himalayan salt also has all the minerals with it as well. So when you soak with the Himalayan salt, the minerals will go in and your toxins will come out. So if you have a bath and things are happening in your life, you're busy, there's stress, there's health issues, there's worries, there's world, any of those, you know, or you just want to enjoy yourself, put a kilo of Himalayan salt in your bath. Honest, it does you wonders. We're all mineral deficient, and we need all those minerals and all the trace minerals. It's not just the basic minerals, we need all the trace minerals because our diets are just not good enough. You know, we don't eat good food. It's very hard to get good food. A lot of it is processed, and what we do buy in the supermarket has been altered. The DNA of things have been altered, so it's not as the nutrients aren't as high as they used to be, you know, and they're not organic. They're mass-produced in the soil. That's ripped up. Next one's put in, bit of fertiliser, and then that one's ripped up. Next lot goes in, bit of fertiliser. So our trace minerals are not in the soil like they used to be. And so it's very hard to get all those trace minerals in as well. And, it's been a hard winter with bugs, and people have been getting, whether it's the COVID or a flu or one of the other ones, and then they get something else on top of that as well, all your minerals will be very low. Your immune system will be very low, and it takes time for the immune system to come back on track. I was listening to a YouTube report this morning from a Dr. Mobeen in America, and he's a lecturer for doctors. And he was talking about a study that had come through, and the T cells that are part of the immune system, that even after a year after COVID infection, where the person had had a COVID infection, those T cells were still not on track. They weren't at their optimum level. And it was like, oh, they're supposed to be pretty good after 3 months. And it's like, okay, we really need to step up our game and actually get those minerals back into our body. We need to eat the good fruit and vegetables, not too much meat in your diet, potato, pumpkin and kumara, but you have to either boil them, steam them or dry bake them. Once you put oil with it, it changes the carbohydrate and they're not as good as they should be for your body. So your potato, pumpkin and kumara are fine, just boil them, steam them or dry bake them. Okay, and then you've got a perfect carbohydrate for the body. Rice is empty calories. There's not much in it. There's not much nutrients for your body. Pasta there's not a lot in that either. It's more like a filler. It fills us up. It turns to a bit of sugar. It gives us a bit of energy. But it's kind of like an empty sort of thing. There's not a lot of nutrients. So, you can have a bit of that on your plate. I'm not saying you can't have it. Just have a little bit on your plate, but have more vegetables and, some pumpkin or kumara in there because they're good for the body. So we do have to step up our game because these bugs are nasty and our immune system is getting weaker, which means our nervous system is getting weaker. Our energies aren't as high as they should be. We don't respond to stress as well as we used to. And we start to age. Who wants all of that? Not me. I got things to do in my life, thank you very much. I'm busy doing this, that and the other thing. And so I know I have to step up, maybe, I might have 1 coffee a day. Okay, I might have to stop that and do it once every 3 days. Or bag of chippies. Or I might stop that and just have that once a month. Have some treats. But we need to get our health back on track. We need to get all those minerals in there. We don't want the foods that are going to rob us of those minerals. All right, so I know you're listening to me and you're thinking about what you've got in your diet and what you can change and alter and make better and improve. And, every bit you do adds up and it counts. You mightn't see it when you look in the mirror the next day, but it will happen. And, having a clear mind, if emotions will have a part to play. They will drag the body down as quick as anything. If you're holding on to anger or resentment or bitterness, unless the person's living beside you, and then that's not fun, is it? Otherwise, they don't know that you're still angry. You could be still angry at a person 5 years later. And it's stopping your body from absorbing all these nutrients and all the goodies. And they don't even know that you're angry at them still, And so who is it harming? It's just harming yourself. There is no point to it. It doesn't change their life. People will be nasty. It happens, whether it's deliberate or not deliberate. And then they just go to the next person. They go to the next person. Maybe they were having a hard time and they didn't mean to be mean, but it just happened. It's no use holding on to it. You need to learn to forgive and let go because you're the one that's going to benefit. The other person won't benefit. You don't have to go and tell them, hey, I forgive you for what you did to me 5 years ago. I'm no longer going to hold on to it. They'll just look at you and go, what? I had a lady 20 years ago. And she was going, you were mean to me 20 years ago. And I just looked at her, what? Really? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to be mean. It's not in my nature to be mean. I must have been, I don't know, 20 years ago, my kids were little. I was probably tired, exhausted, probably hadn't slept much, probably didn't even know what I was saying. Who knows? It was like, oh my God, you've been holding on to this for 20 years. I'm like, oh, you poor thing. How many nutrients has that person lost in 20 years? Because it takes quite a bit of energy to stay angry. You know, it's you should try it. Think of something that, you know, it's time to let go of. And then you deliberately let go. You say a prayer, I don't know, write something down, maybe burn it, and then see how you feel and see how you are over the next couple of days. You know, you have to mean it. You can't just go, oh yeah, I'm going to forgive that person, and then you hold on to it. That's not what I'm meaning at all. So it's very good to think about these sort of things. Have a bit of time and actually think about it and breathe and feel where it's holding in your body as well. So let's get back to, I've been a therapist for 26 years, coming up to 27, I guess. And so there's been lots of people come through my practice. I have a clinic here in Hastings, and I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And I have a clinic in Waipakarau Mondays and Fridays. And I've been around the world a few times and had clinic in Greece and Australia and the outbacks of Australia actually. So, and Waikato, I was there for about 5 years as well. So not just in Hastings. So I've been around and I've learnt lots of things and some shortcuts and some things that I can just get very quickly. Some things take a bit of time. And so everyone is a little bit different and they've all come from different angles. But what we want is peace. We want peace and happiness and a bit of tranquility in our body. And, you know, we're happy. That's sometimes is the basics, isn't it? When we haven't got it, we realise how important it actually is. And so I have lots of tools up my sleeve and techniques that I can use. I've been to Thailand to do an abdominal course quite a few, probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago, which works on the intestines and the bowels and the liver and the spleen and the kidneys and the psoas muscle as well, which is deep in the abdominal, just to help relax. Because when we get stressed, we hold and we kind of lock our muscles, and then the stressful situation goes and we relax and we're okay. And then a month later, some stress comes again and our muscles we tighten them again. And sometimes we tighten them in our neck and the shoulders, but sometimes it's in the gut and we hold the gut and the stomach and it tightens. And then, you know, a couple of days later it relaxes, the stressful situation is gone. But if we get this stress coming constantly and we continually hold, then all those muscles sort of start to tighten up and they sort of grip and hold, and then the nerves are involved and the circulation doesn't work as well as it should do because those muscles are tight, and then all of a sudden we've got a knot in our stomach and it's hard, and then we find that our bowels aren't working as well, or we're not digesting our food, or and then what's wrong with me, and so forth. So sometimes it's a matter of just unknotting and relaxing those muscles. And that's where the abdominal massage works really well, and just relaxing and rebalancing the body and allowing you to start again. So there's the abdominal massage, and that's called Chinasang. Write that down, you'll never remember it. And I do specialise in the feet, in the bone structure of the feet, realigning them and bringing them back into a more correct position. A little bit like the chiropractor, you know, when they click your back. I do that on the feet and the toes and the ankles and the flat feet and the high arches and the twisted ankles. And that's about 95% success. So you've got to be really unlucky for that one not to work. And that's lovely. You're working on the bone structure of the feet. It's usually not painful. And if there is a bit of pain, it just goes very quickly. And then when you get up, you know, it just feels like you're walking on clouds. And that's why that business is called Foot Bliss. Because it's just, people come back and they go, oh, my feet are so blissful. It's so lovely. And so they just feel start to feel better with each treatment. And if there's some arthritis in the bones of the feet, it's going to take more than one treatment. It's taken years to get to where they are, so it'll just take a little while to unwind you. But each treatment you get better and better and better. It's not like you have to wait 5-6 weeks and then go, oh, I don't think this is working. You're going to know in 5 treatments. Maybe I haven't fixed everything, but you're getting better and better and stronger. And of course, balancing the feet, it doesn't just stop there. Wait, there's more. It starts to go up the body, and your knees start to meet in the right place, and then your hips, and the pressure starts to come off your back and your neck and shoulders. And I've had people where it goes down to their elbows and wrists and fingers as well. So I've seen wonderful things happen over the last 26 and a half years, and I still get a kick out of it. I still enjoy my business. It's so nice watching people change and come back on track and be able to get back into their lives, and whether it's walking or running or cycling or just being able to get out in the garden. It's so nice reversing something for them. And then once we've finished that length of treatment, the most I work on anyone is twice a week for 8 weeks. And sometimes it's a lot shorter. It might be 5 weeks, 4 weeks. Depends what's wrong with the feet and how long that's been going on for. And then I don't see them monthly. It's once we've done that length of treatment, you're fine. Off you go. And you can stand literally on your own 2 feet. And I might see people 2 years later or 3 years later, and it's generally for other things. They remember I do this or that, and they come back for something else. It's not hardly ever see the same thing come back again. Isn't that cool? That's just super. You can actually let it go, and you know that this isn't going to be this isn't what you've got for the rest of your life. And that's so important when you can let these things go. And also do the hands as well, and relaxing the joints and allowing the fingers to come out and flex and get that strength back in your hands as well. I remember an 80-year-old lady that came for her hands, and she was a piano teacher, and she'd had to give up teaching piano 10 years earlier, might have even been 15 years earlier, because she could no longer stretch her hands out to make all the chords, and it was just painful. And then she had stopped playing the piano, I think about 5 years before that, because her hands were just so sore with the arthritis. And so I started working on her hands, and for 6 treatments, and that was twice a week, so 3 weeks, she comes back, she goes, guess what I was doing in the weekend? I said, I don't know, what were you doing in the weekend? I was playing the piano. The look on her face, anybody think she'd won lotto? She'd obviously thought she'd never be able to play the piano again. That was her lot for her life. And the joy in her eyes to be able to do it, and her hands were comfortable. And then I did her hands for 2 more times. And then she comes back and she goes, guess what I was doing in the weekend? I said, playing the piano? She goes, oh, yeah, I was doing that. But I also got the knitting needles out. And it was just so exciting to be part of that process of watching that reverse, where she was, and then seeing how far she'd come and come back on track and was enjoying things again. And that's where I get a huge buzz. It just lights up my soul, lights up my heart. I get so excited. It's not about the money. That just pays my bills and pays my mortgage and all that sort of stuff. I've got a really cool job. Sometimes it's hard, it's not easy fixing some people. They're very complicated sometimes. But you need a challenge sometimes as well. And so you learn over the years lots of different techniques, lots of different ways. And, sometimes I'll use something, and with another person I'll do things a little bit differently. I have a Skinner machine, which is like a TENS machine, if you've heard of that. And that works on your nerves. So cut nerves, damaged nerves, nerve supply. And sometimes you're needing a bit of stimulation to get those nerves back on track or to calm them down. because they're being way too active, and it's very hard to settle nerves. Medication the pharmaceuticals, haven't been able to get the right medication for that one, because it's very hard to calm the nerves down or to block the nerves. Painkillers only sort of touch on an edge and make it a bit more bearable. So we need other things for nerves, and sometimes it won't work, but within 2 treatments with the Skinner machine. So I've seen wonderful things happen with that one. I had a gentleman that was 75. 5 years earlier, he had a jaw operation where the dental surgeon had wanted to cut the bone, open up the gums, cut the bone down and put coral there and make the jaw more even so he could have dentures that would meet properly. Then he could chew his food better, and then he'd be able to absorb more nutrients. Theory sounds great, but when he opened up and started packing the coral there, and apparently it sets really fast, it's like bone, he actually ended up putting the coral on some of the nerves, raw nerves, and then they realised and they just stitched him up and sent him home and said sorry. And so then he was in pain. There was this like density pain, bone density on his jaw all the time, day and night, 24 hours a day. And, he managed to cope for the first couple of years, but then it just gets at you, it wears you down, this kind of nerve pain in his jaw, eating, his lips swelled up. He couldn't tell if it was hot or cold drinks, didn't know if he was dribbling, slurring, or you can hear if you're slurring your words, but it was just all of that. And you can't get away from it. You can ignore it only for so long. Anyway, I said to him about the Skinner machine, and I said, how about we just try it, and we'll just do 3 minutes around the jaw first and just see. And he goes, yeah, why not? I've had this for so long now. And he had nothing to lose because there was nothing you could do. And they couldn't take the coral out because that would just rip all the nerves out even more. And so I think it became a medical misadventure. And so anyway, I used the Skinner machine, and it improved it and brought the nerve pain level down about 40% just with one treatment. And then I did his jaw again the following week, and it brought it down another 20%. So I can't tell you whether it decreased the nerve sensors or it redirected the nerve impulses. I don't know how it fixed it, but it just did. And the results are that he could carry on living. He went out fishing again, he could go camping again, and he started to get his life back on track. And I think I only gave him 2 treatments, and it never went backwards again. So sometimes that can be quite dramatic, the problem, and then the result, it's not necessarily 10, 20 treatments. It can be just the right thing that person needs, and it's just a couple of treatments. That's really cool. That's awesome. So as I said, I've seen lots of wonderful things over the years, and you just know the body is amazing. You get the right thing, the body can heal. It's just finding that magic thing or the miracles that can happen. The body can heal from amazing things. It's just incredible, or make things a little bit easier for you. Maybe sometimes you can't get rid of something, but you can make the person's life easier. And that's what I'm all about. So I can hear somebody saying, give me your phone number. Okay, so 0272 495090. So that's 0272 495090. My webpage is www.footbliss.co.nz. And so I hope you're having a wonderful time, and don't forget, go and get some of the Epsom salts or Himalayan salts. It's nice and easy. You feel good, and we need your health on track. Okay, thank you for listening today.